Hi, and welcome to Voice from the Real World. What we're going to be doing for the next year or so is to be going through A Course in Miracles workbook together, you and I. So I'll be spending a lot of time with you, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have over the years going through the workbook. We're going to begin today with the introduction. So if you'll excuse me, I have to put on my glasses to read. Introduction. A theoretical foundation such as the text provides is necessary as a framework to make the exercises in this workbook meaningful. Yet it is the doing of the exercises that will make the goal of the course possible. This is crucial. I'm not going to be teaching very much from the workbook, the text, and you'll be able to find other videos online here on YouTube or on Facebook, however you approach it, or on our website. However you get to them, there'll be other teachings from the text which will go into depth and give you that theoretical background for doing the workbook. But the key to it is do it. Just do it. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. It is the purpose of this workbook to train your mind to think along the lines the text sets forth. So, don't worry about the text right now. If you're a new student to A Course in Miracles, focus on this, because this training is going to help you to learn to think differently. And if you think differently, you are going to see differently. And you'll see a different world. That's why we're called Voice from the Real World. We're going to show you a different world that's available to you. The exercises are very simple. They do not require a great deal of time, and it does not matter where you do them. They need no preparation. The training period is 1 year. The exercises are numbered from 1 to 365. And we're going to help you with that. If you're part of our Facebook page, obviously we will post on starting January 1st with the introduction in lesson 1 and going through an entire year, so you'll be able to keep abreast of where you should be. Right up front, I want to say that do not ever feel guilty about how well you think you're doing with the workbook, how many exercises during the day. Some of these exercises are more in-depth than others during the lessons. However, the last thing you want to have is guilt. But if guilt does come over it, that's good, because it's going to show you where your guilt is, the unconscious underlying guilt that's in your mind. Do not undertake to do more than one set of exercises a day. If you fall behind, don't try to do 3 or 4 in a day. Just do 1 per day. The year thing is great. You know, January 1st to December 31st. That's wonderful, but don't worry about it. If it takes you 18 months or 2 years to get through it, just do it, and do it as best as you can. The workbook is divided into 2 main sections. The first dealing with the undoing of the way you see now, and the second with the acquisition of true perception. Makes sense, doesn't it? There's a Bible verse that says something to the effect of, you got to tear down before you build up. You have taught yourself dark lessons, is what the text calls it. Dark lessons. All your thinking is based on what you've taught yourself through the course of this so-called life. And we're going to look at that. You're going to see the fallacy and the problems with that thinking. And then we're going to show you how that can be replaced with the thinking of God's Son, or true perception, as the Course calls it. With the exception of the review periods, each day's exercises are planned around one central idea, which is stated first. This is followed by a description of the specific procedures by which the idea for the day is to be applied. And what I'll attempt to do, is to recap at the end of each video what those requirements are. We'll have read them once. I may talk about some of that, but at the end I will recap and remind you what to do. The purpose of the workbook is to train your mind in a systematic way to a different perception of everyone and everything in the world. The exercises are planned to help you generalize the lessons. What does that mean, generalize the lessons? It's going to take you into some specific objects, people to look at, but once you change your perception about that object or that person, generalization means now I can take that and move it to all issues, to all perceived problems, to all the people that I see in the world, not just that one person or one thing. so that you will understand that each of them is equally applicable to everyone and everything you see. Transfer of training and true perception does not proceed as does transfer of the training of the world. If true perception has been achieved in connection with any person, situation, or event, total transfer to everyone and everything is certain. On the other hand, one exception held apart from true perception makes its accomplishments anywhere impossible. Good example of this, the way the world trains. Say you're into computer programming, and at some point you learned how to program, you got late to the game and you learned how to program COBOL, which is an old language from computers. By the time you learned it, it was obsolete, and even more so now the way technology moves so quickly. So, nothing you learn here will be obsolete. It'll be as if you learn COBOL, you can learn it all, because you have learned it all. And so you will always be up to date, so to say, with your training. And that's different from the world's way of training and learning. The only general rules to be observed throughout, then, are first, that the exercises be practiced with great specificity, as will be indicated. If it says look at two things, look at two things. If it says do it for a minute, do it for a minute. Don't do it for 5 minutes. Do it for a minute. If it says do it 3 times during the day, do it 3 times during the day. However, a lot of times I'll remind you, the workbook reminds you that if you're feeling stress as a result of trying to do some things that it's asking you to do, that Jesus is asking you to do in the workbook, don't worry about it. If there's stress there, there's something wrong. Just back off. You'll have learned as much as you can learn at that point. This will help you to generalize the ideas involved to every situation in which you find yourself, and to everyone and everything in it. Second, be sure that you do not decide for yourself that there are some people, situations, or things to which the ideas are inapplicable. This will interfere with transfer of training. The very nature of true perception is that it has no limits. It is the opposite of the way you see now. Totally opposite from the way you're thinking right now. But don't say, well, I can forgive everybody except that person, because that person is every person. If you can't allow one person in the kingdom of God and you banish them, you've banished them all. And guess who's in all? Yourself, your own mind. The overall aim of the exercises is to increase your ability to extend the ideas you will be practicing to include everything. This will require no effort on your part. The exercises themselves meet the conditions necessary for that kind of transfer. And again, if you'll just do it, which we're about to go into here in a second, if you'll just do it, you'll be amazed at the way the changes come just naturally, because you're actually unlearning things that you've piled on top of your reality. And so it just will become nature. It'll just become natural. It'll just be being. Some of the ideas the workbook presents you will find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. This does not matter. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. So you don't even have to believe it. If it sounds outrageous, just do it. Just do the exercise, and I guarantee you'll benefit from it. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Remember only this: you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept them. And you need not even welcome them. Some of them you may actively resist. None of this will matter or decrease their efficacy, but do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains. And whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. And that's our introduction to the workbook. I look forward to going through these 365 lessons together. And remember, just do it.